Have you ever noticed that as you get older, you start visiting people less often? Maybe you used to be the kind of person who made the rounds, stopping by to see friends, attending every event, and making sure to stay socially active. But over time, something shifts. You start thinking twice before heading out, and those casual visits don't feel as necessary as they once did. And here's the truth, that's completely okay. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 real reasons why I don't go visiting around anymore. These aren't about becoming antisocial or shutting people out. Instead, they're about understanding how priorities change, how relationships evolve, and why choosing when and where to spend your time matters more than ever. If you've ever felt the same way but couldn't quite explain why, stick around. This will help you put it into words. Stay tuned until the end, because these reasons might just change the way you see yourself and your relationships, helping you feel more confident in the choices you make. Before we begin, I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video. It helps me keep sharing more important lessons. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Also, if you enjoy this video, please comment 1. If you don't, comment 0 so I know how to improve. Now, let's get started. There comes a moment in life when you finally exhale, a deep, soul-cleansing breath of relief, because you realize you no longer have to keep up with the exhausting demands of constant socializing. Gone are the days of forcing yourself into gatherings that leave you drained, smiling through conversations that no longer interest you, and nodding politely while your mind drifts elsewhere. It's over. You're free. Free from the weight of expectation, free from the pressure to make the rounds, free from the unspoken obligation to keep everyone happy at the cost of your own peace. The moment this realization sets in, it feels like shedding a heavy coat you've been wearing for decades, one you didn't even realize was suffocating you until it was gone. What a relief! What a release! For years, society told you that being social was a duty, that maintaining a wide circle of acquaintances meant you were thriving. But what if the truth was the opposite? What if real joy comes not from spreading yourself thin across endless interactions, but from focusing your energy on the few relationships that truly nourish your soul? As you age, you begin to see it clearly. Not every invitation is worth accepting, not every friendship is worth maintaining, and not every visit is worth the toll it takes on your well-being. The exhaustion that once felt normal is now unbearable, and the idea of preserving your precious energy for meaningful connections is no longer just an option, it's a necessity. And it feels so good. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that you don't have to go anywhere you don't want to. No more rushing to get dressed, no more forcing small talk, no more pushing through traffic just to sit in a room where you don't feel truly seen or appreciated. Instead, you spend your time with people who make you feel alive, valued, and at ease, or better yet, you savor the beauty of your own company. No guilt. No second guessing. Just the bliss of living on your own terms. The relief washes over you like a warm wave, and suddenly, every breath feels lighter. You've reclaimed your time, your energy, your joy. And the best part? The people who genuinely matter, the ones who truly love you, understand this shift without question. They don't demand your constant presence, they respect your choices. This is what real freedom feels like. There comes a point in life when you realize you don't have to tolerate stress, drama, or negativity anymore, and the relief is almost overwhelming. It's like stepping out of a crowded, suffocating room and finally breathing in the fresh, open air. You spent years sitting through tense dinners, enduring passive-aggressive comments, listening to complaints that never ended, and trying to keep the peace while others stirred the pot. But now, you choose peace over obligation. Now, you choose yourself. And the release you feel when you finally say enough is nothing short of euphoric. Think back to all the times you forced yourself to visit people who drained your spirit instead of lifting you up. The times you sat through conversations filled with gossip, criticism, or arguments that went in circles. The times you left gatherings feeling emotionally exhausted, questioning why you even bothered. That weight? It's gone now. You don't have to subject yourself to people who make you feel small, unheard, or disrespected. You don't have to sit at tables where you are only valued for what you bring, not for who you are. The burden of keeping up with toxic relationships has been lifted, and the sheer relief of it is enough to make you want to weep with gratitude. Now, imagine walking away, truly walking away, from all of it. Imagine waking up knowing you'll never again have to sit through another exhausting conversation just to avoid hurting someone else's feelings. Imagine the peace of not answering the phone when negativity calls. Imagine the release of no longer feeling obligated to endure people who don't appreciate you, who don't respect your time, who don't bring joy into your life. You are free now. Free to protect your energy, free to surround yourself with warmth and kindness, free to never again feel trapped in someone else's drama. And the most beautiful part? The people who truly love you, they understand. They don't make you feel guilty for choosing peace. They don't force you into situations that make you uncomfortable. They respect your time, your boundaries, your well-being. The rest? Let them go. Because the day you stop entertaining stress, the day you stop showing up just to appease others, is the day you finally reclaim your happiness. And that kind of relief? It's the greatest gift you will ever give yourself. There is no greater relief than realizing you no longer have to leave the comfort of your own home just to meet the expectations of others. No more exhausting trips, no more stiff chairs in unfamiliar houses, no more forcing yourself to smile when all you want is the peace of your own space. The moment this truth sinks in, it's like stepping into a warm embrace. You are finally free. Free from the endless cycle of preparing, traveling, adjusting, and pretending. Free to wake up and know that today, you don't have to go anywhere you don't want to. The sheer release of it makes every breath feel lighter, every moment feel more your own. Think about all the times you left the house when you really didn't want to. The times you put on uncomfortable shoes, got into the car, and drove across town, not because you wanted to, but because you felt you had to. The times you arrived, only to spend the entire visit counting the minutes until you could leave. That silent suffering? It's over now. You no longer have to trade your peace for someone else's convenience. You don't have to sit through meaningless small talk in a space that doesn't feel like home. Because home is where you belong, and you've earned the right to stay there without guilt. Imagine waking up in the morning and feeling nothing but calm. No rushed preparations, no obligations, no uncomfortable environments to endure. Just the simple, profound joy of being exactly where you want to be. You drink your coffee from your favorite mug. You sit in your chair, perfectly molded to your comfort. The air in your home carries a familiar warmth, a deep sense of belonging. There are no awkward conversations, no distractions, no exhaustion creeping into your bones. Just you, your space, your peace. And the best part? You don't owe anyone an explanation. If someone asks why you don't visit as much, you smile and say, because I'm happy right where I am. The people who truly care will understand. They will respect your decision. They won't guilt-trip you or demand your presence. The rest? Let them go. Because the moment you release yourself from the pressure to be anywhere but where you truly want to be, you reclaim your life. And that, more than anything, is the kind of freedom that makes aging a beautiful, liberating journey. There comes a time when you wake up and feel something profoundly different, a shift so liberating, it fills your entire body with relief. It's the moment you realize you don't have to live for anyone else's expectations anymore. No more running to keep up, no more saying yes when you want to say no, no more shaping your days around obligations that no longer bring you joy. Instead, you get to choose. You get to wake up and ask yourself, what do I want? And for the first time in a long time, you feel the incredible release of knowing that your time is truly your own. Think of all the years you spent chasing after things that, in the end, didn't really matter. The pressure to be social, to be seen, to stay involved in things that exhausted you more than they fulfilled you. It felt endless, didn't it? The invitations, the commitments, the feeling that if you didn't show up, you'd somehow be missing out. But then something changed. You realized that true happiness isn't found in doing what others expect, it's found in doing what actually brings you peace. And suddenly, it all fell away. The weight of obligation, the stress of keeping up, the nagging voice telling you that you needed to be somewhere else, it all disappeared. Now, imagine how it feels to let go completely. No more worrying about whether people will judge you for not attending events. No more feeling guilty for choosing yourself over an exhausting social life. Just pure, beautiful, unshackled freedom. You wake up and spend your time exactly how you want, whether that means reading a book, enjoying the stillness of the morning, or finally picking up that hobby you never had time for before. And the most incredible part? You feel no guilt. None at all. Because you finally understand that your time is precious, your energy is sacred, and your happiness is not up for debate. And here's the beautiful truth, the people who truly matter won't mind. They won't pressure you, they won't guilt trip you, they won't make you feel like you need to prove your worth by showing up. Because they know what you now know, real joy isn't found in being everywhere at once. It's found in choosing what truly makes you happy. And the moment you embrace that truth, you release yourself from every expectation that ever weighed you down. This is your time. Live it exactly the way you want. There is a kind of relief so deep, so profound, that it feels like shedding years of weight off your shoulders. It happens the moment you realize that real friendships don't require constant visits, check-ins, or forced conversations. You don't have to prove your loyalty by showing up every weekend. You don't have to exhaust yourself by keeping up appearances. You are free. Free from the unspoken pressure that says if you don't see someone often, the friendship will disappear. Free from the guilt that used to creep in when you turned down an invitation. Free from the exhausting cycle of trying to maintain every relationship at the cost of your own peace. And when this truth sinks in, the release is so powerful, it's almost breathtaking. Think back to all the times you forced yourself to go out, fearing that if you didn't, the friendship would fade. The times you ignored your own exhaustion just to make sure no one felt neglected. The times you picked up the phone, not because you wanted to, but because you felt like you had to. That's over now. Because you've finally realized something extraordinary, true friendships don't demand, they understand. If someone truly cares about you, they won't measure your worth by how often they see you. They won't guilt trip you for choosing rest over obligation. They won't make you feel like distance equals indifference. Because real connection runs deeper than that. Imagine the freedom of knowing that the people who truly love you will always be there, whether you see them next week or next year. Imagine the release of letting go of the fear that relationships will crumble just because life pulls people in different directions. Imagine the joy of reconnecting with an old friend after months apart and realizing that nothing has changed. No awkwardness, no guilt, no resentment, just the pure, easy comfort of a bond that remains unshaken by time. That's what real friendship is. And the best part? The friendships that fade weren't meant to last. You don't have to chase people who wouldn't chase you. You don't have to keep up relationships that only exist out of habit. The moment you accept this truth, you release yourself from every unnecessary expectation, every exhausting obligation, every draining connection that no longer serves you. You are free now. Free to nurture the friendships that truly matter, and free to let go of the ones that don't, without guilt, without hesitation, and with a heart full of peace. There is a moment of profound relief when you realize that your worth has never been measured by how often you visit people. That real relationships, the ones that matter, are not built on constant presence, but on deep, unwavering connection. The weight you've carried for years, the guilt, the pressure, the need to always be available, it vanishes. Just like that. And in its place, a breathtaking sense of freedom. A release so powerful, so long overdue, that it feels as though you are finally living on your own terms. Think about all the times you felt obligated to show up. The long drives, the small talk, the silent resentment building inside you as you sat through conversations that meant nothing, just to prove that you still cared. You cared, of course you did, but why did it always feel so draining? Because deep down, you knew the truth. A real bond doesn't demand constant maintenance. A real friend, a real connection, is not fragile. It does not weaken with time. It does not wither simply because life takes you in a different direction. And once you accept this, once you embrace it fully, you feel the most beautiful, unshackled release. Imagine waking up and realizing that you owe no one your time, only your sincerity. That if a relationship is built on real respect and love, it will withstand space, silence, and time apart. Imagine the relief of knowing that you don't have to schedule endless visits just to keep a connection alive. Imagine the joy of nurturing the relationships that actually fill your heart, rather than exhausting yourself trying to keep up with the ones that don't. This is your new reality. This is the peace you've longed for. And the best part? The people who truly matter understand. They don't count the days since they last saw you. They don't guilt-trip you for not showing up. They don't expect you to pour from an empty cup. Instead, they cherish the moments you do share, no matter how far apart they may be. Because real friendship, real love, real connection exists beyond time and space. And the rest? Let it go. Let go of the guilt, the pressure, the outdated idea that relationships require constant presence. You are free now. Free to love in your own way, free to connect without obligation, free to embrace the friendships that truly stand the test of time. And that kind of freedom? It's everything. There is a kind of liberation so powerful, so breathtaking, that it feels like stepping into the sunlight after years of carrying a burden you didn't even realize was weighing you down. It happens the moment you finally understand that you don't have to live for anyone else's expectations anymore. You don't have to attend every gathering, answer every call, or show up just to prove that you still care. You are free. Free to make choices based on what truly brings you joy, rather than what others think you should be doing. And the relief of this realization? It's like taking the deepest breath you've ever taken, only to realize that for the first time in years, you can actually breathe. Think about how long you spent playing by the rules of others, the unspoken rules that dictated how often you should visit, how engaged you should be, how much effort you should put into maintaining appearances. The pressure was suffocating. The endless cycle of obligation, the feeling that if you weren't constantly making an effort, people would think you didn't care. But that's a lie. Caring is not measured in visits. Love is not proven by exhausting yourself. And your happiness is not up for negotiation. Now, imagine the release of finally letting it all go. No more guilt for skipping an event that would leave you drained. No more forcing yourself into conversations that don't interest you. No more sacrificing your own peace just to meet someone else's expectations. Just freedom. Pure, unshackled freedom. You wake up in the morning and do exactly what you want. Maybe you sip coffee in silence, take a slow walk, read a book, or simply exist without the weight of obligation pressing down on your shoulders. And for the first time in a long time, you feel alive. And here's the best part, the people who truly love you will understand. They won't make you feel guilty. They won't expect you to perform for their approval. They will cherish the moments you do share and respect the boundaries you set. Because real love, real friendship, real connection isn't about showing up out of obligation, it's about showing up when it truly matters. And the rest? Let it go. Let go of the pressure, the expectations, the need to prove anything to anyone. This is your time. Live it fully, live it joyfully, live it unapologetically. Because the day you stop living for others and start living for yourself, that's the day you truly begin to feel free. There is a moment of pure, unfiltered relief when you finally understand that your value has nothing to do with how often you visit, how many people you please, or how well you conform to expectations. It's the moment you release yourself from the exhausting performance of being social enough. No more forcing small talk, no more feeling guilty for staying home, no more sacrificing your own comfort just to keep up with an outdated idea of what it means to be connected. The weight is gone. The pressure has lifted. And in its place, a profound, soul-deep sense of freedom. Think about how long you spent chasing approval through presents, the endless visits, the obligatory calls, the constant feeling that if you weren't actively keeping up, people would assume you didn't care. It was exhausting, wasn't it? The unspoken rules, the need to show up even when your heart wasn't in it, the draining cycle of trying to be good enough for people who barely noticed your efforts. But now, you finally understand that real connection is not measured in time spent, it's measured in depth, in sincerity, in the energy you choose to give. And the realization is like exhaling after years of holding your breath. Imagine the sheer release of stepping away from the guilt. No more forcing yourself to visit when you'd rather be in the comfort of your own home. No more stretching yourself thin just to meet the expectations of others. No more pretending to enjoy conversations that drain your soul. Instead, you wake up and choose your own peace. You pour your time into what truly fulfills you, whether that's deepening a few meaningful relationships, embracing solitude, or simply allowing yourself the rest you've earned. You no longer live for appearances. You live for yourself. And the best part? The people who genuinely care about you will understand. They won't expect you to perform, to prove your love through exhaustion. They will accept that your presence is a gift, not a requirement. And the rest? Let them go. Let go of the guilt, let go of the pressure, let go of the belief that your worth is tied to how much of yourself you give away. This is your life. These are your years. And they are meant to be lived fully, freely, and without apology. Because the day you stop proving and start simply being is the day you finally discover what it means to be truly, beautifully free. There is a moment, a single, life-altering moment, when you finally release yourself from the crushing belief that your worth is measured by how often you visit, how many events you attend, or how well you keep up with the expectations of others. And the relief is indescribable. It's like dropping a heavy suitcase you've been dragging for decades, one you never even realized was weighing you down. It's the instant realization that your presence is not a currency, you don't owe it to anyone. You don't have to prove your love, your loyalty, or your value by constantly showing up. You are enough just as you are. Think about how long you spent chasing validation through social interaction, forcing yourself to attend gatherings, picking up the phone when you didn't feel like talking, sitting through visits that drained you more than they fulfilled you. And for what? Did it make you feel seen? Did it make you feel truly connected? Or did it leave you exhausted, feeling as though you were just going through the motions, fulfilling obligations that no longer held meaning? That cycle is over now. You've broken free. You've stepped into a new reality where your time, your energy, and your well-being come first. And with that realization comes the most profound, soul-deep release. Imagine waking up tomorrow with no pressure. No guilt hanging over your head, no obligations pulling you in directions you don't want to go. You make your coffee, you sit in your favorite chair, and you breathe. Because for the first time, you truly understand that you don't have to be everywhere to be valued. You don't have to spread yourself thin to maintain connections. The people who matter will always be there, and the ones who demand more than you can give? Let them go. Let go of the idea that your love is measured by your physical presence. Let go of the belief that stepping back means you don't care. Real relationships, the ones that truly nourish your soul, do not require constant upkeep. And here's the most beautiful part, the freedom to live on your own terms. You no longer say yes out of obligation. You no longer force yourself into spaces that don't bring you joy. You are free to live exactly as you choose, with the people who truly uplift you. And that kind of freedom? It's the most precious gift you will ever give yourself. As we grow older, life teaches us a powerful lesson. Our time and energy are precious, and we no longer have to spend them on things that don't bring us peace. The pressure to keep up appearances, to visit people out of obligation, to maintain friendships that no longer uplift us, it all fades away. What remains is the truth. Real connections don't require constant presence, and true friendships don't make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Aging brings the incredible freedom to say no without guilt, to walk away from negativity, and to embrace the quiet joys of life. Whether that means spending time with loved ones who truly matter or simply finding comfort in our own company. There is no need to prove your worth by exhausting yourself for others. Your value is not measured by how many places you go, but by the love, wisdom, and peace you cultivate within yourself. Let go of the expectations that no longer serve you, and embrace the beautiful truth that your happiness is yours to protect. The greatest gift of aging is the ability to live on your own terms, fully, freely, and without apology. Thank you for following us till the end. Don't forget to show some love by clicking the like button and subscribe. This supports the channel and allows me to continue creating content for you. Leave your thoughts or comments below. Feel free to express yourself and stay positive. See you next time. Have you ever looked at someone in their 70s or 80s, still active, sharp, and full of life, and wondered what their secret is? Maybe you've noticed others struggling with fatigue, illness, or a fading spark in thought. What makes the difference? The truth is, age doesn't have to be a barrier to staying strong, vibrant, and joyful. There's a way to not just live longer, but to live better, healthier, happier, and with energy that defies the years. Research from Harvard shows that adopting 5 simple yet powerful habits can add over a decade to your life while slashing your risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. In this video, we're diving into these 6 golden habits that can transform aging into the best chapter of your life. From steps you can take today to surprising secrets that even doctors are amazed by, you'll discover how to thrive with strength and joy, no matter your age. So why stick around? Because the 6th habit is a turning point, a habit that will surprise you, and it could be the key to unlocking a life of vitality you never thought possible. Follow us and let's start this journey together. Before we begin, I would truly appreciate it if you liked this video. Your support helps me continue to spread the wisdom of aging well. If you haven't subscribed yet,